In the early hours of June 22nd, 1941, the world witnessed one of the most audacious and ultimately catastrophic military operations in history. Adolf Hitler, the Führer of Nazi Germany, launched Operation Barbarossa, the invasion of the Soviet Union. It was a gamble that would forever change the course of World War II and seal the fate of millions. But how did it come to this? What drove Hitler to break a non-aggression pact and unleash a brutal campaign that would stretch the limits of human endurance and strategy? Today, we uncover the events that led to this monumental gamble and explore why it ended in disaster. In August 1939, the world was stunned. Two ideological enemies, Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union, signed the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, a non-aggression treaty with secret clauses dividing Eastern Europe into spheres of influence. Within weeks, Poland was torn apart, Germany invading from the west, and the Soviets from the east. But beneath this temporary alliance lay deep distrust. Hitler saw the Soviet Union as his true ideological enemy, while Stalin viewed the pact as a temporary shield, buying time to rebuild his weakened military after devastating purges. By 1941, Hitler stood at the peak of his power. France had fallen, Britain was isolated, and much of Europe was under his control, yet his eyes were fixed on the East. He believed the Soviet Union would provide the Lebensraum, living space, that Germany needed. The vast lands, the oil, the grain, all were to fuel his vision of a greater German empire. Operation Barbarossa was designed to destroy the Soviet state in a single blow before the harsh Russian winter could arrive. June 22, 1941. Without a formal declaration of war, over 3 million German soldiers, the largest invasion force in human history, stormed across a 1,800-mile front. The assault was devastating. German tanks and aircraft smashed through Soviet defenses, encircling and annihilating entire Red Army divisions. In just weeks, cities like Minsk, Smolensk, and Kiev fell. Millions of Soviet troops were captured. It seemed as if nothing could stop the Wehrmacht, but not everyone in Berlin shared Hitler's confidence. His generals, men like Franz Halder and Fedor von Bock, warned of the risks. They knew the dangers of vast distances, poor supply lines, and the brutal Russian weather. Hitler ignored them. Driven by ideology and arrogance, he believed the Soviet Union would collapse in a matter of months. But as German troops pushed deeper, the Russian vastness began to devour them. By September, German forces were closing in on Leningrad, Kiev, and Moscow, but then came the enemy Hitler hadn't planned for, the Russian winter. Temperatures plunged to minus 40 degrees Celsius. Engines froze, weapons jammed, and frostbite spread through the ranks. The Wehrmacht, ill-equipped and starving, ground to a halt. Meanwhile, Stalin's Soviet Union rallied. Under commanders like Marshal Zhukov, fresh Siberian troops counterattacked. The Battle of Moscow in December 1941 became a turning point. Hitler's Blitzkrieg had failed. In the north, the Siege of Leningrad began, a horrific 872-day ordeal of starvation, freezing temperatures, and relentless bombardment. Yet, Leningrad did not fall. By 1942, Hitler turned south toward the oil fields of the Caucasus, leading to the Battle of Stalingrad. It was one of the bloodiest battles in history. The city became a graveyard for the German Sixth Army. The defeat at Stalingrad shattered the myth of German invincibility. Operation Barbarossa exposed the fatal flaws in Hitler's vision: arrogance, poor logistics, and underestimating the resilience of the Soviet people. The Red Army, strengthened by Allied Lend-Lease supplies, pushed the invaders back. By 1945, the same road that led the Wehrmacht into the Soviet Union would lead the Red Army into Berlin. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe to PASTRIX for more untold stories that shaped our world.